Okay, in this session I am going to explain you how to do the mediating analysis using Professor Andrew Hayes process macro method. Okay, right. So please understand that in order to test the mediating effect, you should have direct effects as well as indirect effects. So please understand that is your prime requirement. Okay, so this is the just to understand about the mediating variable. Full mediation means the indirect path should be significant, but direct path should be insignificant. In other words, this path should be significant, this path should be insignificant, then we call it full mediation. Partial mediation means both direct path and indirect path should be significant. That means this path should be significant and this path also should be significant. Then we call it partial mediation. No mediation means this indirect path is not significant, but this direct path only is significant. Right? Okay. So that's all about the definition of the mediating variables, right? So this is our standard model. You can see here we have our three independent variables as usual, and this is our dependent variable pi. This is pi, right? This is our mediating variable, right? Okay. So under the hypothesis number H3, so we have to test all these three relationship. That means the mediating effects of the CPV on the relationship between HM and PI, UM and PI, EM and PI. You have to test thrice to get the mediating effects of these three variables, right? As I told you very clearly. So this is your independent variable number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, right? So you should have the direct effects as well as indirect effects. So in this case, right, this is your direct effects, right? This is your indirect effects. Okay, so you should have direct effects as well as indirect effects. Okay, now we will do the mediating analysis straight away. It's a very simple and very straightforward, right? Okay, so please remember that you should have already installed Professor Andrew Hayes process macro version 4 or 3.5 in your SPS. That is to be remembered before starting the analysis, right? Okay, so now as usual you got our data set. So go to the analysis, regression, but this time not linear, right? This time you have to go to the Professor Andrew's process macro method, this one, right? Now you are having your dialog here. So please select your dependent variable. So where is my dependent variable? So this is it, right? So please remember I have taken the mean value. Why? To measure to measure my purchasing intention of the dependent variable, I use three questions. So therefore I summed up all the scores of the questions and divided by 3, and then I got the PI mean, then I will place here. My independent variable HM this time, number 1 variable, as I told you very clearly, I use 8 questions to measure HM, and then I summed up all 8 scores of all the 8 questions and divided by 8, then I got the HMM I will be placing here. So then similarly CPV, I used 7 questions to measure this one, and I got the mean value by dividing 7, and I will be placing here under the mediator's box. Right now that is okay. Now please remember, so now you have to test the mediating effects of 3 relationships. Why? Because there are 3 independent variables. So please remember, if you do in SPS AMOS or Smart PLS, simply simultaneously you can test the mediating effects of all these 3 relationships at one click, but in this particular method, at a time you can test mediating effects of a CPV on the relationship between one independent variable and one dependent variable. So you can see here HM is there. Try to put UM here. This rejected, you can't. So only at a time only HM, right? Now it's okay. Now we have to do some changes, right? Go to this right side 4 boxes. Go to the options, right? Change it. This number 3, the box number 3, just check it. Then only you are getting the effects model, right? Analysis part, that's all. Then go to the fourth box, long variable. If you have a long variables names, just click it OK. I accept, even though short, no problem. Just click it, no harm, right? For your safety, right? That's all the right side. Left side, that's a very, very important thing you have to change. What's that? Okay, according to Professor Andrew Hayes, there are about more than 84 models as identified by the Professor Andrew Hayes. The number 1 is the most simplest moderating model. But now we are doing mediating. The most simple mediating model is number 4. You have to change 1 into the 4. Okay, right, that's it. Nothing else. Just click OK. Now you will get the analysis part within 1-2 minutes, right? Okay, so please remember the key points. You have to get the mean values, and then you should have already installed your Professor Andrew Hayes process macro method, and then you have to go to your right side and you have to change the options. Third box should be checked, right? That's it. And also in your left side, model should be changed from 1 to 4, right? That's it. So this is it. So now this is your descriptive area. This is your descriptive area. This is your dependent variable, your independent variable, your mediating variable, your sample size, nothing else, right? Okay, so now let's move on to the next box. So this is a very important. Now please understand, we have to check the relationship, this one, and this one. Can you remember? So this is our here we have our independent variable, here we have our mediator, here we have our dependent variable. So we have to test this direct effects as well as the indirect effects. We have to test all these 3 parts, right? Now I am doing, right? This is CPV and HM. That means this one and this one. Okay, so we will test this one, right? It is simply significant. Why? P value is less than 0, and these 2 values, please remember, these 2 values are very important when testing significance in mediating analysis. Why? These 2 values should have the same sign, either plus and plus or minus and minus. No plus or minus, or no minus or plus. Why? If the 0 falls in between these 2 values, it is insignificant. But in this case, both values are plus, no 0 falls in between, and the p value is also less than 0. So this is significant. So that means HM to CPV is significant. That means this part is significant, right? Okay, now we will have to test the significance of the other 2 parts, right? Let's go to the other 2 parts, right? So this is it. So this is CPV. Outcome variable is CPV. We already tested this one. So this is outcome variable is our dependent variable. Now we have to test the relationship between the mediator and the dependent variable, and the independent variable and the dependent variable. That means, in other words, graphically, this one and this one, these 2 parts we have to test, right? So you can simply understand very clear this HM and PI relationship. When there is a mediator in between, this is insignificant. Why? P value is greater than 0.05. That means this path is insignificant when there is a mediator. Also, this P value is greater than 0.05. These 2 values are minus and plus. That means 0 is in between. So this criteria also confirms that this relationship is insignificant. Now we already checked this part, significant. this path insignificant. Okay, now we have to test the third path. That means mediation variable to dependent variable. So very clear, it's simply there. This one to this one, the value is less than 0.05. These two values have the same signs, both values are plus, no zero in between. This path is significant. Now we check all these three paths. Okay, significant, insignificant. Okay, clear. Right, now let's go to the analysis part. Now very simple. Now already you know according to the definition, right? We will test the analysis. So this is just to give an idea about the total effect model. Total effect model is definitely significant, so you don't have to worry about that. Now this is our business area. Okay, so this is our business area. So we will take 2-3 minutes to explain this conforming criteria, right? Okay, so now total effects, yes, it is significant. Why? It should be significant because you have direct effects or indirect effects or both effects. So definitely you should have either effects. So this is definitely significant. No issue in that. This is very important in this case. Why? Direct effects of x on y is insignificant. This is very clearly mentioned in writing. So you don't have to worry about that. That means this relationship is insignificant. Okay. And what is the next one? Third one is once again very important. Indirect effects means this relationship, right? Both relationships are taken together and significant. Why? These two values having the same sign and no zero in between. So this is significant, insignificant, and this is definitely significant. So please remember that here there is a no P. No P here. Why? So when testing mediating effects using this Professor Andrew's process macro method, no P is coming here. So instead of that, you have to test the significance using these two values, right? Using these two values. If these two values have the same sign plus and plus or minus and minus, then it is called significant. That means zero does not fall in between. If it has plus and minus or minus and plus, then the zero falls in between, then it is insignificant. So please remember that. Okay, now you very clearly understood this is fully mediation. Why? This path that means indirect path is significant. This path that means direct path is not significant. That means fully mediating according to the definition of the mediating. Please go and check in my slide number 3. Okay. Right, now we will go into the next part. Right, so this is it. So if you go to here, right, so this is it. So in this case, this path is insignificant, right? This path I will just tell you. This path is insignificant. This path is indirect path is significant. So this is a fully mediation according to the definition, right? Now we will check the other variable, right? So we'll go to the data set is already there, right? Okay, so now we will check the UF, that means the second independent variable. I already told you very clearly, you will have to test all three relationships separately. That means the mediating effects of the CPV on the relationship between the HM and PI, you have to check it, and the CPV effects on the relationship UM and PI, you have to check it again, and finally the effects of the mediating effects of the CPV on the relationship of EM and PI should be tested again in the third time. Right now we are going to test for the second time, right? Okay, go to the equation. Not linear. Linear means just to check the direct effects. To test the mediating and the moderating effects, you should go to the Professor Andrew Hayes process macro method, that is here, right? in your computer, maybe just above or below, don't worry about that. Anyway, you have to go for this one. Remember, if you have not already installed Professor Andrew's process macro method, you have to install it before starting the mediating or the moderating analysis. If you don't know how to do it, please check my video, previous video, tutorial number 1. I have very clearly explained you how to download and how to install the Professor Andrew Hayes process macro method into your SPS. Right, okay, go there. Right, just reset it. I will start from the beginning. Yeah. Okay, where is your PI? The mean value? This one, right? Okay, put as y variable. And this time your independent variable is UM. Yeah, this is X independent variable. Your mediating variable does not change, so you have to put it there. Right, now you have to do some changes in your right side. No need to go to about. Go to the options. Click the check the box number 3. So that is to get the detailed analysis, right? Okay, nothing else. Go to this box number 4, long variables name. Sometimes if you don't have the long variables, you don't have to check this one, but we don't know it now. So therefore we will keep it checked for our safety. So that's it. Now you have to go to your left side. This is a very, very important, right? So because according to Professor Andrew, he has introduced more than 84 models. More than 80 models, right? Very important. So out of that 80, our business models are 1 and the 4. One is the most simple moderated model that will be discussed in our next session. So in this case, in this mediating analysis, we are using the Professor Andrew Hayes model number 4. So you have to change this to model number 4. Right? That's it. Okay, right. Just click it. Right. Just double check it. So this is okay. Right. Long variables. This is okay. Right. Model number 4. That's okay. Right. Dependent variable okay. Independent variable okay. Mediate okay. Now just click it. Right. Now you will get very simply. I'm not going to explain fully. I will just show you whether it is a fully mediation or partially mediation, right? Okay? Right. It will take some time, right? I got it. Right. So here as usual you got the descriptive summary. That is what is your dependent variable, what is your mediating, what is your moderating. So the dependent variable and the mediating variable this time were not changed, but the independent variable changed from HM to UM. This time it is UM, right? Okay. So this is again this outcome variable. That means once again you will have to test all these. Once again you will have to test all these 3 parts, right? All these 3 parts you have to check. Okay, clear. So this is CPV and UM. This is this part. Okay, UM and CPV. It is significant, very clearly significant. And also these 2 values have the same value. Okay, 2 value have the same value. That means this part is significant. Clear? Right. Now you have to check this part and this part. Okay, right. We will check that one. Right. Go to the next one. Right. This time the outcome variable is PI. That means your dependent variable is PI. We did not check these things in our SPS, but the system will check it for us. We checked only the first criteria, no? That we did not check this one, but the system will check it for you. Right? Okay. Now we are going to check this one. Outcome variable is PI. Independent variables are this. Right. Now we are going to check this part and this part, right? Okay, so first one is UM and PI. UM and PI means this one, that means this one, right? It is significant. Why? P value is less than 0.05. At the same time, these 2 values have the same sign, positive, no zero in between. So the relationship between the UM and the PI is this time it is significant when there is a mediator, but last time it was insignificant. Please check that one. So that means now already check this one significant. That means UMN CPV. This one also significant. That means UMN PI. Okay. Now you have to test this part. This means CPV and PI. Okay, it's very clear. This and this also significant. Why? P value is less than 0.05 and these two values having plus values, right? Okay, clear. In other words, now you already check this path is significant, this path is also significant, this path is also significant this time, but last time this path was insignificant. So now you can understand according to definition, all the paths are significant, then it is partially mediating. Okay, now we will check the analysis part, right? This is the analysis part, business area. So as I told you, total effect model, this definitely it should be significant. Why? Either insignificant, either direct or indirect, it is significant. So therefore the total model is definitely significant. So this is natural, no doubt on that. And this is very important. This is our business area, right? So you have to interpret this part very, very strongly. Please check my slides. I have interpreted nicely, right? According to the scholars, according to the Prof.Andrew, right? So this is your total effects. This is definitely significant. This means that one. So both are same, right? Okay, you can check it. Not this one, right? This and this are same. That means total effects, right? Okay. Now indirect effects. Indirect effects means this one, this part, whole part, both including. It is significant. Why? Sorry, direct effects. Right? Direct effects means this one, right? This one is significant. Why? P value is less than 0.05. These two values, both values are positive. No zero between, no zero falls in between. So this part, direct effects x on y, is significant. That means the relationship between the UM and the PI this time is significant, but last time the relationship between the HM and the PI is insignificant. Okay, now clear. This path is direct path is significant. Now we are going to test this indirect path. Yeah, that is very clearly significant. Why? Both values are plus, no zero in between. So that path is also significant. Now this path, indirect path, is also significant. This direct path is also significant. Then according to the definition, this is partially mediation. If I go to this definition, so you can see this path, this time this path is significant, and this path also significant. This path also significant. Then according to the criteria number 2, this is partially mediation. Okay, so this is all about the mediation analysis. So can you remember? So I will just recap what I did here. Right? What I did here. Before starting your mediating analysis, you have to ensure that the Prof.Andrew Hayes process macro feature has been installed in your computer. So that is your first requirement, right? Okay, so remember. So after that, to check the mediating effect, you should have the direct effects as well as indirect effects, right? Otherwise you can't do it. And then if you have used number of questions, different number of questions to measure your constructs, you have to get the mean value, right? Because I use 8 questions to measure HM, 9 questions to measure UM, and 3 questions to measure PI. Then I divided by number of questions, I got the mean value, right? So please remember to do all the hypotheses. That means direct hypothesis, mediating hypothesis, or the moderating hypothesis. You should get the mean values if you use different number of questions, right? Normally every research you are using different number of questions. That means you have to get the mean value. Just sum up all the values and just divide by the number of questions. You will get the mean value within 1 minute, 1 second using the SPS composite transformer variable option, right? So when we were doing the analysis, we had to do some changes. Why? This time we had to go to the SPS analysis regression, but not the linear. This time we had to go for the Professor Andrew Hayes process macro method. That may be in my software, that is I think sub option under 4. So after appearing that dialog, okay, after appearing that diagram, I changed some setups. Before that, I put my dependent variable in the dependent variable box, and my independent variable is variable in the independent variable box, and my mediator variable is in my mediator variable box. I will have to put all these 3 variables in the relevant boxes. Please remember, at a time you can test only one independent variable. Two independent variables cannot be tested in this method, right? Okay. Now I have already placed all my variables in the relevant places. Now I will have to test. I will have to adjust I will have to change the right side 4 boxes. Go to the second box, that means options. Go to the box number 3, check that one to get the mediating. It's only that one. Check box number 3 and then close that one, and then go to the final one or the 4th one. Then select they call that longer names, accept it, just check that box, that is okay. Now the right side is okay. Now the left side, just come to the first one. You are having the model number 1 by default. So according to the Professor Andrew Hayes, there are more than 80 models he has identified. He has introduced. Out of that, our main model is model number 1, that is simple moderation, which will be discussed in our next tutorial. For the mediating effects, we will be taking the model number 4 that we already used today. So all these changes you have to do. After that, you can just run and do the analysis. Okay, that's all about the mediating analysis. Next time we will be meeting when we are doing the moderating analysis. I hope that this mediating analysis will be useful you to do your own mediating analysis comfortably. Okay, thank you very much.